All right. So, in this story, I would say this is 4chan Theory 2.6, maybe? Something like that, Just continued evidence on this idea.
Yeah.
But this is a standalone case on its own. It really is. This isn't part 3 yet. We'll get to there, but this is some back-end evidence. And this is one of the cases that we mentioned in 4chan Part 2, where we were asking some questions around the fraternities, how they're managed, how they're connected to the school, why they're connected to the school, why the school wants to keep them around and or would fight for them to stay there and continue living there and residing there and feeding the college money and everything like that. So this case is centered around Joseph Wyderick. In some countries, it would be Weiderick, which I'm going to stick with Joseph. So, Joseph Wyderick was 18, okay? Now, in Moscow, Idaho, the Latah County coroner says 18-year-old freshman Joseph Wyderick died of hypothermia in the early morning hours on Sunday, January 20th. Officials say Wyderick was outside for nearly 4 hours in temperatures in the teens when he wandered nearly 5 miles off campus. So, I have a couple questions right off the top with this first statement, right? Died of hypothermia. Okay, was he lost out in the woods with no houses around?
Right.
Was he not wearing proper clothing for temperature in the teens? Did he not have a phone? Was he not familiar with the area? All these questions pop up. So just keep that in the back of your mind as we're going through this, all right? So he was also actually found 7 miles away, not 5 miles away. So it's interesting that they put 5, but, it is what it is, I guess. So, and this is a headline. A University of Idaho student froze to death under a bridge after leaving a fraternity party this weekend. Moscow police found the body of Joseph, 18, of Haley, Idaho, where he lives, under the Paradise Creek Bridge at about 4 p.m. Monday, according to Police Chief David Duke. So, they find Joseph, okay, under this bridge. And they say he had a blood alcohol of at a concerning rate. It was at a concerning percentage. So I think when they tested him, he was right around 0.15 or something like that. And when you do the calculation of math, because alcohol is always burning out of your blood, even when you're passed. So they come up with a figure of how long they've been sitting there and what their BAC was when they passed. His was at 0.30. That's high. That is very high. If they're right, 0.30 is when people start losing consciousness.
That's
things like
you're
that.
poisoned at that point. Your body is poisoned.
Yep. But we wonder about this, all right? So as I'm doing research into this, I'm going to share some of the details that I found, okay? In multiple articles, it says that they did not find anything but alcohol in this kid's blood. Now, I was able to find an article with a statement from Kathy Madbutt, the coroner. And she says that they found alcohol and pot. So that made my red flags go off, right? Right away, because 2 articles I found said it was just alcohol. Her statement says that it was alcohol and pot. Which one is it? Because those 2 articles that said it was just alcohol went out of their way to clarify there was no other drugs in there. Marijuana is not legal in Idaho.
No.
Nowhere close to it.
So why wouldn't they mention it?
it?
And dang, Mabbitt's been the coroner for a while then, because this happened in 2013, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't know she was coroner that long. Jeez.
Yep.
I mean, it's not that long, but, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think when in the Idaho 4 case, it did say that she had been reelected like a whole bunch of times, I think.
Oh, okay.
Because I think she's in an elected position, if I'm remembering correct.
I think you're right.
Yeah. So, interesting.
Wipe your eyebrow. It's just a speck of something.
Okay.
It's good.
So, what happened to him? All right, we'll just go straight into the crime here. He was at a party. All right, so he was at a party at the Sigma Alpha Epsilon Fraternity Saturday night and left sometime after midnight. Now, remember, he was only found on Monday at 4 p.m. Now, according to what we're reading here, okay, he left sometime after midnight, but instead of walking northwest towards his residence in the U of I's Theophilus Tower, he walked east, then north, according to the location information gleaned from cell phone records. Now, that's interesting because we know what cell phone records show in Moscow.
In 10 years ago, it wouldn't have been any better. Oh, my goodness. It would have been worse.
I agree. So right when I saw that, again, red flags started going off here. I was like, cell phone records, they have awful service there. And they have 0 ways to triangulate. None. Nothing. No ways to triangulate. None whatsoever. So, I'm still reading here, okay? And according to the storyline, Joseph left. He was with somebody, by the way, and that person has made a statement saying that they plan to go together and plan to come back. They walked from the Theophilus Tower, which is like 0.3 of a mile away or something like that, or a half a mile. Well, instead, he walks east. And according to police records, they say they tracked him on his cell phone. We know that's not possible. There is no way to triangulate. They could give a rough average, but you're talking miles, a square miles worth of a rough estimation. They say that he walked east and then north. Now, at approximately 3 a.m. Sunday, a homeowner in the 1100 block of Highland Drive found Weidrich in her basement. Weird, okay? So I have another article here that says police state they found Weidrich just inside the front door.
What?
Strange. Very strange. So, here, you know what? I'll go through this whole story real quick, and then we'll go back to these. I probably should have done that from the beginning. So, according to the police story, he walked east. He was found inside of a homeowner's home at 3 a.m., okay? And according to the first article I read, he was found just inside the front door. The homeowner woke up, found him, and said that they didn't want to get him in trouble. So they sent him over across the street to their neighbors. I couldn't find anything else in this. I don't know why they would send him across the street to their neighbors. But they said they sent him across the street to their neighbors, okay? And they thought he looked okay and everything, and they sent him on his way. So he continued walking. Now, apparently, he came across another house where he tried to get into that house with no success. According to the police report, they say that it looked like he tried to flag somebody down. I have no idea how you can tell somebody was trying to flag someone down from their shoe prints. I have no idea whatsoever. I have wondered, did they see a struggle in the snow? This is snowing, all right? So they tried to follow his footsteps from there, they claim, but he started walking back on the street. He then went in somebody's backyard hopped over a fence. Remember, he's supposed to be so insanely wasted, okay? They say he hopped over a fence and started walking along the creek bed. According to what they see, he tripped walking down the embankment onto the frozen river. It fell backwards, hit his head, knew that he was in trouble, and crawled under the bridge to try and find some cover and froze to death. Now, you know what's interesting? Is I had to dig for the details around the injury on the back of the head. The original police statement does not talk about that. It says that he fell trying to find shelter and froze to death because his BAC was at a scary level. Now, let's go back, okay? That original door he went in, I have so many questions with that. On the first statement, it says that he was just inside the front door when the homeowner found him. That second statement that I found way after I already started researching the story says that they found him in the basement. I don't understand why I'm getting contradicting information here. I'm not sure. It doesn't feel honest. It feels like something's going on here. Yeah. But they didn't want to get him in trouble, and they sent him on his way. Now, you know there are two statements around people seeing him, and he said that he was in trouble. He was going to die. Weird. Because this person, homeowner, says that they asked, "Are you okay?" He said, "Yes, I'm okay." And he said, "Okay, so, maybe my neighbor over there can help you." He tried to go over to the neighbor. Which is
super messed up.
I agree, man. I agree. I feel like there's something really strange here. Then they say that per his foot tracks, it looked like he was trying to flag somebody down, wave somebody down, and then gave up and continued walking. Where he walked on the blacktop, they lost track of his footprints, and they don't know from there. I have so many questions with this. He encounters somebody else where he was trying to get in, and according to this person, he said that he thought he was going to die, and this person didn't help him.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That would weigh on my conscience.
Yeah. It goes on to say here too, and this was a while ago, and it was buried big time, you guys. I had a hard time finding information about this. Here's the breakdown of it. Ignore everything that we just talked about leading up to it. An 18-year-old boy that was a part of Greek Row was found under a bridge with an injury to the back of his head, froze to death.
With a blood alcohol content of 0.3.
Well, they're estimating that if he died on Saturday night.
Dude, at 0.3, how... right, because it would have been more before, right? Because it would have... No,
it would have been less on Sunday. If he died Sunday night because he was found Monday morning, it would have been less.
Oh, okay.
Yep, it would have been less. So they say that this is what he was wearing. He was 135 pounds. He was wearing jeans, he was wearing Vans, he was wearing a hooded sweatshirt, and he was wearing a pullover ski jacket.
Okay.
He was dressed for the occasion. I mean, it was in the teens.
Yeah.
Double layers, good to go. My concern with this is you have a Greek Row student that went to a party, got a head injury, and was put under a bridge. To me, this feels like foul play.
Yeah.
To me, this feels like something's up here. That they didn't want involvement of fraternity involvement. Now, we've talked about the fraternities now a couple times. This is not my opinion based on what happened in the story. This is what happened. He had an injury to his head. It wasn't talked about. He had marijuana in his system, and it wasn't talked about. And one of the interesting things in here is says, word for word, investigators are having mixed results from their interviews with students who were at the party, with many conflicting statements being given to police. Duke said there were about 120 people at the party. Some people are talking to us, but most aren't.
Not good.
You know,
why not? Even if you don't have anything to add, why not say, well, you know, I didn't really see him. I don't know.
Most aren't talking. Yeah, it's strange. It's really strange. I wish I could find the evidence without having to submit a public request around this. Well, how do they know that he slipped and hit his head on the ice? Do they see a believable and consistent trail of head hitting ice and then blood trail?
Drip. Because, I mean, if you have alcohol in your system, and heads bleed a lot. Like, I've seen somebody who fell and, like, hit their head and it caused a gash. And even though it wasn't, like, super, super severe, it was, I mean, their skin was split open. They had to have stitches or staples. But it was a lot of blood.
Yeah.
Like, way more than I expected.
They claim that he died of hypothermia, though, which I think is a very strange way. He was around houses. He was asking for help. His parents state multiple times he was asking for help in these situations. His parents came out and said that he was not the type of kid that parties. He had good grades. He was going to school to be a contractor. And this wasn't like him, that he didn't use drugs. Now, to be fair, we know what a lot of parents say that don't have their eyes open to what's going on here, right?
Yeah.
So my question to you is, do you think that someone with 0.3 BAC left not knowing what direction they were? They're so drunk they don't know how to walk back to where they walked from. But they walked 7 miles, you guys. 7 miles. Talking to multiple homeowners, asking for help, laying down in a basement or front door. We don't know because the stories aren't clear.
Right.
What police say was based on his footsteps, it looks like he was like trying to get someone's attention, or was that a struggle area maybe?
Yeah.
That they were seeing?
Because that doesn't really totally make sense.
He was found frozen under the bridge and had a head injury. And this is in connection with the same Greek row that has 45% of their men leave college as an alcoholic or an addict. Confirmed 100% stat that's pulled directly from that .gov website that we talked about in part 2.
Jeez.
It's the same website that says that fraternity men are 3 times more likely to assault somebody.
How many more times? 3?
3 times. 300% more likely to assault somebody. Okay, so...
I mean, it's very shady. Like, I feel like there's
very shady.
So many things that are not addressed that it's a problem.
Now get this. So after this happened, the college came out and they put together what they call a Greek life task force. Okay?
Okay.
You know what this consisted of?
What?
It consisted of a small group of fraternity and sorority alumni and current fraternity and sorority students.
Alumni?
And it says the relationship of UI Greek system and the task force will be reviewed by other fraternity members. So essentially the college is saying, hey, this is a horrible situation. It looks like somebody messed up. So in order for us to help make our college safer, we're going to put together a task force of the same people that were involved in this situation and expect you guys to manage it.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's really strange. And I think it goes back to the 10-to-1 comment. So for every $1 a graduating college student gives to the college, a fraternity member gives 10. And remember, you guys, if all fraternities and sororities were picked up and taken off every college campus, there would be no more colleges. Right, because
they literally like fund the colleges.
They do,
like on their own.
They do.
It's kind of insane. Like I had no idea it worked that way until we started talking about this. So it makes sense that they want to protect, the interest of the fraternity and not want them to look bad.
Yeah. I just have so many question marks here, you guys. And I told you when we talked about these cases that we were going to dive deeper into these. And this is a good one to dive into because to me, are we sure that somebody that is blackout drunk would leave and walk 7 miles, jump fences, talk to people, tell people they needed help, be turned away multiple times, get their own head injury, and then lay under a bridge and freeze?
Right.
Is it possible this happened? Sure. It's possible. But it doesn't feel very plausible.
Yeah. And did you ever run across the interview with the lady who claimed she was one of those neighbors?
Mm-mm.
I could have swore I saw an interview like that, but I could be mistaken.
Okay.
I'll have to go back and look to see if I can find it again, because I'm pretty sure she was saying that a kid knocked on her door and she didn't know what was going on, but if she had known, she would have let him in. If you look at pictures of this kid, he looks so young.
I know.
Like he looks like a little teenager still, like 16.
I know.
He looks like really sweet too.
Yeah, it's really sad, and I think this is another victim of that Greek lifestyle. Whether something shady went on here, and we're able to prove a history of cover-ups being done in this area, or this is just a victim of circumstance, of somebody that has no experience drinking, getting way too plastered because of the Greek lifestyle, and that's what's expected, to the point where they couldn't control themselves, and this was the turnout. I see problems no matter what. This is a problem situation, no matter what.
Yeah, I agree.
But let me know what you guys think. Let me know how you feel about it. Does this prove a history of there being a possible connection to fraternities within the Idaho 4 case? Do you need to hear more cases like this? Because I plan on covering the rest of them that are in this area, giving a breakdown of exactly what happened. I suggest you guys look into it. You'll be able to see how many different stories there are here of what happened to him.
It's weird that the details change like that.
I know.
It's super strange.
I know.
Man, yep. I want to see those documents.
Yep.
For sure.
But maybe we'll follow up on this. Let us know what you think.